What if the way you start your morning is silently deciding your entire life? Every successful person you admire wins their day before most people even wake up. And it all begins with a simple, powerful routine. Your life doesn't change overnight. It changes every morning when you decide to show up differently. The first hour of your day is not just time, it's your foundation. Most people wake up reactive, scrolling, rushing, and already behind. But what if you could flip that script? What if you could take control, build momentum, and create a routine so powerful it transforms your mindset, energy, and success? This isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Because when you own your morning, you take the first step toward owning your life. And it all starts with one decision: to begin differently today. Waking up with purpose means you don't leave your morning to chance. The moment your eyes open, you already know why you're getting out of bed. Instead of hitting snooze and drifting back into comfort, you make a conscious decision to rise with intention. Purpose gives direction to your energy. Without it, your morning becomes slow, reactive, and unfocused. With it, every action starts to feel meaningful. You're not just waking up, you're stepping into a role, a mission, a version of yourself that you are building day by day. It begins the night before, when you define what matters most for the next day. You choose one clear reason that pulls you forward, something bigger than your excuses. When morning comes, that reason is stronger than your laziness. Your mind might resist, but your purpose pushes you up anyway. You don't negotiate with comfort because you already decided who you want to be. Purpose also creates clarity. Instead of wondering what to do first, you move with certainty. You start your day aligned, focused, and mentally sharp. Even small actions feel powerful because they are connected to something bigger. Over time, this builds discipline, confidence, and self-respect. You stop living randomly and start living deliberately, where each morning becomes a fresh opportunity to move closer to the life you truly want. Avoiding phone distraction in the morning is one of the most powerful habits you can build. The moment you reach for your phone, you give away control of your mind. Notifications, messages, and social media instantly pull your attention in different directions, filling your head with noise before you've even had a chance to think for yourself. Instead of starting your day with clarity, you begin it reacting to other people's demands, opinions, and priorities. Your morning should belong to you, not to your screen. When you delay checking your phone, even for the first 30 to 60 minutes, you create space for focus and intention. You allow your mind to wake up naturally, without being flooded by information. This simple decision helps you stay calm, centered, and in control. It strengthens your ability to concentrate and prevents unnecessary stress from entering your day too early. Breaking the habit may feel uncomfortable at first because your brain is used to instant stimulation. But that discomfort is a sign of growth. Replace the urge with something more meaningful like stretching, breathing, or planning your day. Each time you resist the phone, you build discipline and reclaim your attention. Over time, this small change transforms your mornings into a period of peace, clarity, and personal power, where you decide how your day begins instead of letting the world decide for you. Moving your body in the morning is not about fitness alone. It is about awakening your entire system. When you stay still after waking up, your mind remains foggy, your energy stays low, and your focus takes longer to activate. But the moment you introduce movement, everything begins to shift inside you. Blood starts flowing faster, oxygen reaches your brain more efficiently, and your body sends signals of alertness to your mind. You don't need intense workouts or heavy routines. Even simple stretching, walking, or light exercise is enough to trigger this change. The key is consistency, not intensity. Your body responds to motion like an engine that finally starts after being idle for hours. Most people underestimate how deeply physical movement affects mental clarity. When you move early in the day, you break the cycle of laziness before it even forms. You create momentum that carries into everything else you do. Tasks feel lighter, thoughts feel sharper, and decisions become easier. This is because movement doesn't just wake up your muscles, it wakes up your discipline. Each step, each stretch, each breath taken during movement is a reminder that you are in control of your state, not your emotions or your excuses. There's also a powerful psychological shift that happens when you move first thing in the morning. You start the day with action instead of hesitation. This builds identity reinforcement, where your brain begins to associate you with someone who takes initiative. Over time, this small morning habit shapes how you respond to challenges throughout the day. Instead of feeling stuck or delayed, you naturally lean toward action, even in difficult situations. Your energy becomes proactive rather than reactive, and your confidence begins to grow silently but strongly inside when you keep repeating this pattern every morning. Your system starts to rewire itself at a deeper level, influencing how you respond to pressure, deadlines, and unexpected changes throughout your daily routine, making your actions feel more automatic and aligned with the energy you build at the start of the day before you even realize it happening naturally. Practicing gratitude in the morning is one of the simplest yet most powerful ways to completely shift your mindset and emotional state before the day even begins. When you wake up, your mind is in a very sensitive phase. It is still forming its direction for the day. In those first moments, whatever you focus on begins to shape your emotional tone, your thoughts, and even your reactions. If you immediately think about stress, problems, or pressure, your mind starts the day in a defensive mode. But when you consciously focus on gratitude, you interrupt that pattern and replace it with awareness, appreciation, and emotional stability. Gratitude is not about ignoring problems or pretending everything is perfect. It is about training your mind to notice what is already working in your life, even in small ways. The fact that you woke up, that you have another chance, that you are breathing, that you have opportunities ahead of you, all of these are reasons to pause and acknowledge something positive. When you consistently do this in the morning, your brain begins to rewire itself to look for what is good instead of automatically focusing on what is missing or wrong. This shift changes how you experience everything throughout the day. Most people underestimate how much their morning emotions influence their entire day. If you start with frustration or stress, those emotions tend to stay in the background of your mind and affect your decisions, your patience, and your communication with others. But when you start with gratitude, you create a sense of emotional balance. You become less reactive to small problems and more grounded when challenges appear. This does not mean life becomes easier, but it means you become stronger in how you respond to it. Another powerful effect of morning gratitude is that it increases mental clarity. When your mind is not consumed by negativity or worry, you think more clearly and make better decisions. You are not mentally cluttered, so your focus becomes sharper. Even simple actions feel lighter because your emotional load is reduced. This creates a sense of calm productivity, where you are not rushing or stressing, but moving with intention and awareness. Over time, practicing gratitude in the morning builds emotional resilience. You start noticing that even on difficult days, there is still something to be thankful for. This does not erase challenges, but it gives you balance so that challenges do not overwhelm you. Your mindset becomes more stable, less dependent on external circumstances, and more grounded in internal awareness. There's also a deep identity shift that happens. You begin to see yourself as someone who values life instead of constantly chasing what is missing. This changes how you interact with people, how you handle pressure, and how you view your progress. Instead of feeling behind or dissatisfied, you start recognizing growth, effort, and small wins that you would have previously ignored. When gratitude becomes a consistent morning habit, it slowly transforms your emotional baseline. You stop waking up in survival mode and start waking up in appreciation mode. This shift affects your energy, your mindset, and your overall outlook on life in ways that build silently but powerfully over time. Setting daily intentions in the morning is about deciding how you want to show up in the day before the world starts influencing you. Most people wake up and immediately get pulled into reactions, messages, responsibilities, and random thoughts, but intention creates direction before distraction takes over. When you set an intention, you are not just planning tasks, you are choosing a mindset, a behavior pattern, and an emotional tone that will guide everything you do. It becomes a filter for your decisions, helping you stay aligned with what matters instead of getting lost in urgency. Without intention, the day controls you. You move from one task to another without clarity, often feeling busy but not productive. Intentions change that dynamic completely because they give structure to your awareness. Instead of reacting, you begin responding. For example, your intention could be to stay calm under pressure, to stay focused on deep work, or to be more patient in communication. These are not goals in the traditional sense, but internal standards that shape how you operate in real time. When challenges arise, your intention becomes the anchor that brings you back to your chosen state, rather than letting emotions take over. The power of setting intentions lies in repetition and awareness. When you repeat a simple intention every morning, your subconscious starts absorbing it as part of your identity. You begin noticing yourself acting in alignment with it more often without forcing it. This happens because your brain is constantly looking for consistency between what you decide and what you do. If your intention is clarity, you start making clearer decisions. If your intention is discipline, you naturally resist distractions more often. It is not about perfection, but about creating a guiding direction that gently shapes your behavior throughout the day without pressure or overwhelm. Intentions also reduce mental noise. When you have no direction, your mind keeps jumping between multiple thoughts, worries, and distractions, trying to figure out what matters most. But when you set a clear intention, your mind has something stable to return to. This creates a sense of focus that feels calm rather than forced. You stop wasting energy on unnecessary decisions because your intention already defines your approach. Even when unexpected situations come up, you are less likely to lose control because your internal direction is already set, giving you a stronger sense of stability in unpredictable moments, allowing you to stay centered even when external pressure increases and competing demands try to pull your attention in different directions throughout the day over time. This habit becomes more than just a morning exercise. It turns into a mental framework that quietly shapes your personality, your choices, and the way you move through different situations without you even realizing how deeply it is influencing your responses as the day unfolds and your attention shifts between tasks and interactions and environments. And you start noticing subtle shifts in how you respond without needing to force change or analyze it too deeply in the moment. Taking immediate action in the morning is what separates intention from transformation. Most people have ideas, plans, and motivation when they wake up, but very few translate that energy into action right away. The moment you delay, hesitation begins to grow. Your mind starts negotiating, making excuses, and overthinking small details that don't even matter. Immediate action breaks that cycle before it has a chance to form. It creates momentum instantly, and momentum is what carries your entire day forward. When you act immediately after waking up, you are training your brain to prioritize execution over analysis. Instead of thinking endlessly about what should be done, you simply begin. This shift is powerful because it removes the gap between thought and behavior. That gap is where procrastination lives. The longer you sit in that gap, the harder it becomes to move. But when you shrink that gap to almost zero, your productivity rises naturally without force or pressure. Even the smallest action, like making your bed, writing your plan, or starting a task you've been avoiding, sends a signal to your brain that you are in control of your actions, not your emotions or resistance. Immediate action also builds confidence in a very real and practical way. Confidence is not something you wait to feel before you act. It is something that grows after you act. Each time you take action without overthinking, you prove to yourself that you are capable of doing difficult things without needing perfect conditions. This builds self-trust. Over time, your brain begins to associate you with someone who follows through, and this identity shift changes how you approach everything else in life. You start trusting your own decisions more because you have evidence that you act on them consistently. There is also a neurological effect that happens when you take action early. Your brain releases energy and focus chemicals when you engage in activity, especially tasks that require effort or discipline. This creates a positive cycle where action leads to clarity, and clarity leads to more action. Instead of waiting for motivation to appear, you generate it through movement. This is why people who act early in the day often feel more productive even before completing major tasks. The act of starting itself creates the momentum needed to continue. Immediate action also reduces anxiety and mental pressure. When tasks are left pending, they stay in the background of your mind, creating mental clutter. This low-level stress affects your focus and energy throughout the day. But when you act immediately, even on small tasks, you reduce that mental load. Your mind feels lighter because there are fewer unresolved thoughts occupying your attention. This creates a sense of control, where you are not overwhelmed by what needs to be done because you are actively handling it step by step without delay. Another important effect is how it reshapes your discipline. Discipline is not built through large, dramatic efforts, but through consistent small decisions made without hesitation. Every time you choose action over delay, you strengthen that discipline muscle. Over time, it becomes easier to act even when you don't feel like it. You stop depending on motivation and start relying on structure. This creates stability in your behavior, allowing you to stay consistent even when your mood or energy fluctuates throughout the day. Immediate action also changes your identity at a deeper level. You begin to see yourself as someone who moves quickly, who does not wait for perfect timing, and who trusts action over overthinking. This identity shift influences how you approach challenges, opportunities, and responsibilities. Instead of being stuck in planning mode, you become someone who executes, learns, adjusts, and improves in real time. Your life starts reflecting the speed and clarity of your actions rather than the weight of your thoughts, shaping a pattern where progress becomes a natural outcome of how you choose to begin each day.